In 1917, while still in exile, Stalin would receive the news that he had been working towards for over 15 years. Revolution had taken place in Russia. Russia's population, over 100 million people, had suffered years of oppression, discontent and poverty. Coupled with the horrendous failures of the First World War and the personal failings of Russia's monarch, Tsar Nicholas II would be executed, ending 300 years of his family's rule, with a provisional government being established to take control of the country. Stalin was soon released from his exile and made his way back to central Russia with a renewed sense of purpose. But his mentor Lenin was still unsatisfied, calling for yet another revolution that would see a socialist government take power. However, there was significant resistance within the party towards his ideas, with Stalin openly expressing his opposition. To get Stalin on his side, Lenin would give him a place on the Bolshevik Central Committee, granting him a large amount of influence and his first real taste of power. Stalin would quickly devote himself to Lenin's cause, and that October, the Bolsheviks would stage a second revolution, removing the provisional government from power and establishing themselves as leaders of the country. As a leading Bolshevik, Stalin was now one of the most powerful men in the country. But the struggle was not finished. The revolution would lead to 5 years of civil war, an exceptionally brutal period that would shape Stalin into the cruel and ruthless leader he would later become. During the civil war, he would be appointed to the city of Zaritsin by Lenin to acquire grain for the Bolsheviks and to organize the local fighting forces. But lacking any military knowledge or experience, Stalin would completely mishandle the situation, and after just 2 months under his command, the city was on the verge of collapse, with many soldiers having died under his command. Faced with this disaster, Stalin would turn to a technique that would later become a staple of his political career. He would begin the use of terror. The disaster was soon blamed on counter-revolutionaries, spies and saboteurs, who were arrested, convicted on weak or fabricated evidence, and then executed. Stalin became known for being particularly brutal in his use of terror, burning down entire villages and arresting anyone who dared to argue with him. He was highly suspicious of military personnel, who he would often target in his purges, bringing him into conflict with the head of the army, Leon Trotsky, who saw Stalin as a dangerous political rival. Trotsky would express his grievances to Lenin, leading to Stalin's removal from Zaritsin and beginning a lifelong rivalry between the two men, a conflict from which only one of them would survive.